Hello everyone, it's Sal McRum. We're back in our vintage story vanilla world that I've been playing. And tonight, I'm going to continue my hunt for Halite because we have got the highest readings I've ever seen. And then, adding to that, I've also got a temporal storm rolling in when I last logged off anyway, so I don't know if that's going to still be a thing or not. But we'll find out. Anywho, give me just a second. I'm just taking care of a couple things real quick. Alright. Just replying to some Discord messages from my community, because we're actually getting ready, folks, to go live with our multiplayer server. Huh? Uh, Anyways, we're getting ready to go live with our multiplayer server tomorrow. The idea being that I'll have a vanilla vintage story world for my community to play in. Fire went out. Throw a couple more pieces of wood in there. Alright. Maybe one more thing real quick, folks. There we go. Alright. Cool. Alright. I was just sorting out a thing on the side of my YouTube there. Alright. Now, so we had our last reading here, and it was... Yeah, that's a pretty good reading. Oop, set myself on fire again. I kind of want to do another quick reading right here. Let's see here. We'll do that block. We'll do that block. And we'll do like this block. I kind of want to see if it goes went down. Okay, so it actually is going down over here. Alright, so we're higher over there. So what we'll do is we'll come back over to this point and then go this way a little bit and take another reading real quick. Did I bring a bed with me? I did not. Hindsight. Eat one more piece of meat. There we go. Alright. My way through this tree that's in my way. Torch out so I can see, or my lantern out so I can see. Funeral bells, chicken of the woods. Alright, so this was the one we had there. I heard something. So let's go over this way. And let's do reading just over here and see what we get. Alright. Yeah, this could work. Get these branches out of my way so I can actually see what I'm doing. Alright. There was no trunk to that pine tree. Unless that's it there. There we go. Alright. Now, we should be able to get a reading here. We got flint. Not that I care about the flint right now. One more, and then... Does that one work? Oh, it actually went up, so... We're even higher. Not by a lot. So, let's go this way just a little bit further. See if we can't get a better reading. There's a thing about halite like this is you can't do short-range readings for it. You have to do the long-range readings, and then you just have to get lucky and find it. Now, what you can do, or at least used to be able to do, I don't know if this is still a thing, there's a mineral that can spawn in halite that doesn't show up on the long-range readings, but will show up in the short-range readings. And that is, well, it's saltpeter, but I don't remember what the term they use for it in the game is. Alright. Okay, let's get up here. Let's get me some stones here. Do this one. Come over here, we'll do this one. You kind of want to do them six together, because they're all kind of like centralized on that first one you break. Alright, okay, so went back down. Alright, so our highest reading has been there. So let's go back over there and do some prospecting around. Kind of another funeral bell. See what kind of mushrooms we're seeing. Alright, so that was our highest reading. Try to find a good spot where I want to mine in it. Actually, I'm just going to do something just to see if we're lucky. Let's just do a short range right here. Galita. Alright, not what I'm looking for per se. Well, there's the temporal storm blowing in. There's my dirt. There we go. Can live in this cave for a minute. I'll wait for this temporal storm to blow through. There we go. Get that out of my offhand, save a little bit of calories. But anyways, I hope everybody's having a good night so far. I am. Just working on getting through this storm so we can get back to mining. I don't want to mine out too much area, otherwise, you know, we'll end up with a lot more drifters and such spawning in on us. You can hear those drifters and all out there. I mean, a lot of that's also just the sounds you hear when temporal storms are going through. But anywho, Hopefully the storm won't last too long, because it's what? It is a heavy temporal storm, so yeah, it's gonna be a little rough on our temporal stability. So we'll have to wait for that to recover after the storm passes a little bit. Now, for all we know, there could be Halite like right behind me here. I mean, not literally right behind me. Because obviously that's just claystone. But like I could mine like 2 blocks back and run into it. Like we don't know. Because of the reading. That's the nature with Halite. You kind of just gotta run into it. Like very rarely will you find like a short range reading that will show you like whatever that stuff is here. Let's see. We'll just check this. Good, is it salt? No. Oops, if I spell it right. Good lord. So saltpeter. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for potash. Good lord. It's potash that I was thinking of. Here we go. So potash is a fertilizer great for plants, and it permanently increases it, created by cooking in pot. Sylvite. So what you're looking for is sylvite, which you can find in Halite. So if you do a short range reading, you can find sylvite. You cannot find it with a long range reading, but it occurs in Halite. So since we're in a decent Halite area, you can, if there's any sylvite in the Halite dome, assuming there's even a Halite dome in this area, you can sometimes use a short range pick check to find that. But again, you gotta get like right on top of it. Right now we're just trying to wait out this temporal storm. Kind of trying to decide which way I want to mine too. To look for this Halite. These temporal storms, especially these heavy ones, can be kind of rough. We're gonna have to sit here anyways. Oh wow, these are nightmare drifters. Ooh. Let's at least see if we can get some loot out of it. They kind of messed me up a little bit. I'm gonna close that up. And I did not bring any healing items with me. Alright, maybe not play with the drifters. You can hear a boat torn out there now. That actually restored a significant amount of my temporal stability, though, killing that nightmare drifter. So, each drifter or bow torn or shiver you kill during a storm like this, or whatever, actually helps restore your temporal stability. And the more powerful it is, the more temporal stability it actually restores. So, that was Nightmare one, so that's like the most powerful variety, I believe. That restored something like 25% temporal stability or some nonsense. No, maybe not 20%. Maybe it was only like 10%, but still. It's pretty good. Do I even have anything to make... No, I don't have anything to make healing stuff out of either. That's mildly annoying. When the storm stops, we might have to go grab some cattails and stuff, see if we can't get some healing going. I know. It's not very exciting watching this temporal storm from inside a little hole in the wall here. But unfortunately, I don't have the ability to sleep through them. Or none. What I could do... We can get some flint. Flint. More flint. And then what we can do is see about getting them to come up closer here. And one fell. Come here. Come back. Come on. Yep, that one got me. Okay, the temporal storm's winning. There we go. Come here. They keep catching me. Okay, they got that one. Alright. Come on, temporal storm. Finish playing out. I'd like to get my loot. We got at least one piece of stuff. Welcome. There we go. All right. There we go. Cool. Got some loot. I don't see... I still hear a shiver out there. But we're playing some Vintage Story. This is my vanilla playthrough. Right now I'm looking for Halite, which is salt in the game. And I'm at like the best reading I've ever seen for salt. And I just found Galena. Welcome. And unfortunately, I'm not getting a translation of what you're saying. Hold on. A second. Yep. Still can't read what you're saying. Anyways. But welcome to chat. Yeah, so I'm mining Galena, which is lead. In case you're wondering. Because I happen to have found a rich lead vein. And I do have to be careful in here because this is a claystone biome. And claystone is not very stable. Alright. Lucked out. It did not collapse on me. Alright. Let's keep working our way in as we look for Halite, which is salt. And unfortunately, this is one of the few things where you kind of just have to poke around like this. Alright, let's see if we see anything here. Nothing. Okay. Let's see here. So we had our best reading there. Let's go back this way a little bit. Let's go that way. Alright. Well, we got some more lead here. Any more? Bet there's more lead back there. Alright, any more lead? No, okay. We got it all that time. So let's go north and see if we get any luck from finding a halite. Yep. That's a whole moon. We'll do a short range check anyways. Okay, we'll do a long range check. Yeah, so we're kind of poking around looking for halite. Alright. There we go. How does that compare to the other one? So that's 33.27. 33. So it's like the same. So if there's halite here, it's somewhere in this area. Let's see here. I want to start prospecting here. This halite. Let's go down here a little bit. We're gonna dig some of this out. Let's go this way. Come on, give me some halite. Now, it could also be in, like, in between the layers and stuff. There's apparently, like, some spawn mechanic for it. Alright, come on. I'm also running out of inventory space. Hold on. Give me a second. Let's get rid of all this claystone. Let's come out this way. I want to save the galena, because that's good quality galena there. So what we're going to do is come out here. Just dump all that into the river. There we go. Just be rid of all those rocks there. Actually, one of the things I should check is apparently, I've never seen this, but apparently you can, like, find halite, like, exposed underwater, depending on the situation. There we go. Alright, so let's see here if there's anything around here with a short range check. Nope, nothing. Okay. Not surprising. Ooh. I have burned a lot of calories from my character here. Hold on. There we go. Which is fine. I was actually kind of waiting for my character to burn some calories. Then I could use the food to give myself more time where I'm not burning calories. So let's go this way. Let's see if we get lucky. Come on. Show me the halite. Still no halite. Man. Stuff's such a pain to find. Do a short range, just see if we see anything. Nothing, okay. Not that I expected to see Halite, you know, but maybe if I was lucky, we'd see some Sylvite. Oh, we found dirt. Okay. Let's come back to, like, here. And go north for a bit here. So what I might do is mine up towards the lake here, and then mine down to get under the lake, and do a reading under there. Because I've been told that sometimes under those lakes... We'll mine down some now. Okay, let's do this. Give myself a little bit of a staircase here. I mean, at least temporal stability is good in this area. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to get up here under the lake a bit. Oh, too far. Alright. So we need to go deeper. There we go. Water stopped. Okay. Let's work down a little bit. There we go. Now let's keep going. Thankfully, it's a fairly shallow lake, so it shouldn't be too hard to stay under it. Alright, so let's... This should be a good spot for reading, so let's do... we'll do that one for short range, just see if there's anything nearby. Flint and silver. Okay, interesting. So that was one, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And... 1, 2, 3, 4. So do that one. That'll be sure. There we go. Decent. Oh, Halite did go up. So Halite is higher up here. Interesting. This is a better spot to be looking for Halite. Okay. I wonder if that quartz is below us. Yep, there it is. And that's quartz. Quartz. Alright. Oh, so, Henry, this is a vintage story. It started off as a set of Minecraft mods. But the people who were creating the mods decided they couldn't do everything they wanted to with the Minecraft engine. And so basically they made their own game engine to make Vintage Story. And right now, I'm in the process of looking for specific minerals in the game. And in this case, I'm looking for halite, which is rock salt, basically. And let's see here. I want to see if this quartz suffers from the same problem. Yeah, no, it's still just as weak as normal claystone. Okay. And that's one of the things you have to be careful with in this game. You can cause cave-ins, which is why I was like being very careful about what I was mining out there. Right. So we're gonna go this way. It is Minecraft-esque, because it did start off as, you know, a set of Minecraft mods. Part of the reason I'm going this way, though, is because I found traces of silver, and there they are, right there. So, the way you find silver in this game is you have to find it in these quartz veins, which is what this stuff is here. And then you can mine the silver out of it. Which, let's see here. No, I don't want that. I want the silver. I don't really want the quartz either. Hold on. Ah, this claystone's gonna drive me nuts. There we go. Alright. Cool. There we go. But down in this area where I'm at, I've gotten a decent reading for halite, and I've also found some silver. I'm just grabbing silver while I can, in the hopes that I find halite. Is that silver above me? That is silver above me. Hold on. Oh, thank goodness I didn't have a cave-in. Okay. Whenever you mine above you like that in this game, you risk a cave-in. You can turn off cave-ins, but in this particular world, I've turned them on. Alright, come on. Let's see if we can't find some more halite here. I've also never found halite. Well here, I'll show you. So basically, if you look at this rock here, if you can read the top of my screen, you'll see it says instability 50%. That means if I was to say break this here rock beside it, or this rock beside it, there's a 50% chance that ceiling tile there would collapse. And the less support it has around it, so if I was, say, to break out this one, or some of these others, and it didn't collapse, that number would keep increasing until eventually it would collapse. And you can do things like build mine supports to offset it. And this particular host rock that I'm mining in, this claystone, is particularly weak. And you'll know there's a cave-in because the blocks above you will start falling on you. And they can kill you. It's the whole thing. Alright, let's see here. Let's do a quick sample. I know I'm going to find a lot of quartz, but I want to see if I see any, like, suvite. Yeah, I know there's quartz around me. That's not what I'm looking for, game. Alright. And so one of the tricks I'm kind of using to look for the halite is because it can spawn in this rock. So if we hold Shift H, it'll bring up our handbook that it can tell us, like, in claystone you can find brown coal, black coal, anthracite, which is a type of black coal, lead ore, which I did find some iron ore, you know, native copper, all this stuff. But the one we're looking for is this kind of pink rock that's called halite. And I've never actually found it in the game. We're so close. I also wouldn't mind some sulfur, but, you know. So halite is salt. And you need it in this game to preserve certain types of foods. For example, hold on, no, that's not wood. E. So right now I'm carrying some flax grain on me from some flax I harvested earlier, but I'm also carrying some porridge. If I wanted to say preserve like meat or vegetables for long-term storage, because this game does have food spoilage, you would put them in basically a salt brine, where you basically take a barrel, fill it up with water and salt, and then you put the vegetables and meat in it to preserve them. To make them into pickles or cured meat, basically. And then they'll last you a lot longer. And that's important because this game has seasons, and so like in winter, you can't grow crops. The animals also are of lower weight if you're trying to hunt animals for food, so they don't have as much meat on them, things like that. I'm going to go this way because it looks like there's a cave over this way. Alright. Not to mention, if you want to make more advanced foods like cheese, for example. Yeah, it's like a much more realistic Minecraft. That's a good way to describe it. It's like Minecraft with all the survival game stuff that people might want. It's a good way to describe the game. But like I was saying, if I wanted to make cheese, I first have to make pickles using salt and vegetables. And then I have to take the pickles. Am I seriously out of food? Okay, I have one more serving of food left. And then you put a pickle in there with your milk that you get from the animals you're raising. That's the process I'm still working on back at base. Oh, goodness. Got a drifter in the cave with us. Bad drifter. Alright. So that was a drifter. They're kind of like the basic enemy of the game. They come from some other dimension called the Rust Dimension. And there's a whole bunch of lore behind that, which I'm not going to spoil for you. But if you watch my vanilla videos, you'll get some of it, because part of the point of this vanilla series that I'm doing here, no mods, is to play through the entire storyline. And right now it's winter time, which is freezing all the water around, so it's making it hard for me to travel long distances in my sailboat to get to places I want to go to for story content. And I thought there was a cave entrance like right over here. Looked like there was a cave entrance over here. So basically on my map, what I'm looking at is on the surface you see these like little white areas. That can be two things. With it starting to snow, that could be snow. But like when you see a big one like this, that's usually a cave entrance. And I was seeing if that was maybe a cave entrance I was seeing over here on this side of the lake, but I think it was just a snow pile on the surface. It's not on Steam yet. And they've gone back and forth about if they want to put it on Steam. The developers have. Like, they've talked about it. But they don't feel like they need to right now. And they kind of like the freedom they have with their modding community. So you can just buy it directly from their website, which is what I did. And that's also what most people recommend anyways. But it has like full mod support and everything. It's much easier to mod than, say, Minecraft, if I'm honest. What I'm doing right now is I'm checking the readings. Okay, so my Halite reading has gone down over here. Not by much, but some. And so basically, when you do a prospecting sample like that... Oh yeah, no, it's great. Check my channel, there's plenty of links to the game. Or you can just type in Vintage Story in Google, and it'll come right up. It's a great game. I love Vintage Story. Like, I used to play a lot of Minecraft, and then I started playing Vintage Story. Now I prefer Vintage Story, just because I love survival games. And so I got the best of both worlds with it. Got chromite, though. And... graphite. Oh, there's graphite in the area. Interesting. Again, I don't know what I'm looking for. Alright. That's not what I wanted. Okay, let's see if we can't... Okay, we didn't get a cave-in. Oh, cave-in. Oh. Ooh, see, that was a cave-in right there. Nearly killed myself. Alright. Gonna mine it back out, though. Any more stuff I care about? Just seeing if I see any silver in here. No, no silver. Alright. Because I was actually trying to get closer to the surface here. Not all blocks have instability like that. Like, you can change that. Like, I currently have it set so dirt does not currently have that instability issue in my game. But you can set it so dirt does have the instability issue. Now, gravel and sand have it, where they will collapse, just like in Minecraft. Alright, so here we go. Like, this dirt ceiling, That's not going to collapse on me. Matter of fact, I could actually start digging my way up through that. Which I think it will. Because I need to get back to the surface. Oh, there's some sand. There's that sand I was talking about. There you go. And I dropped some on myself. Alright. So we've come up out here in this forest. First things first, I'm going to get rid of some of this claystone that's in my... You can see where the ice is freezing over because it's so cold. It's winter time in game right now. Alright, so we don't need that. Wow, I'm really running low on inventory space. Okay. Alright. Trying to think of where I want to go and mine here. I also need to consider heading back towards base. Oh yeah, well, like I kind of came out on a big exploration last stream, where I left my home base, which is right over here. You can see all my waypoints around my base where I've been marking points of interest. But there's my house, and I sailed over here because at this point I found, you know, some readings of chromite and cassiterite. And I sailed over to here and left my boat there because I wanted to chase the chromite. Because the chromite is used to make sturdy leather in this game. Now, I'm not quite ready for that point, but I was like, you know, if I can go ahead and get some, since it's winter time and I'm just kind of burning time anyways, it would be a good opportunity to do so. But then I got distracted when I started getting, like, halite readings. And I started chasing the halite readings because I've yet to find salt at all in this game. So yeah, I've been mining for a little bit. But I'm gonna I think I'll head back towards my base. I heard a rift just now. So you saw that monster that jumped me earlier in the mine? That drifter? Yeah, I'm kind of stuck down this hole, aren't I? Gotta find a way out of this little valley I've got myself stuck in. But those creatures, as I said, they come from the Rust Realm. You can also find or encounter these basically portals that open up that will spawn more of those monsters. And I just very distantly heard the sound of one a second ago. If I see one, I'll show it to you. So, base game mob-wise, here we'll go down this cave, see if we see one. There's like, kind of, there's like 5. I'd say there's like 5 basic mobs. So you have the Drifter, which is kind of your basic mob. Then, kind of, after the Drifter, you have the Shiver, which is like this crawling, 4-legged critter. It has like a mouth that splits open into like 4 pieces or whatever. It's kind of horrifying looking. And then after the Shiver, you have the Bowtorn, which is kind of the other basic mob you'll see sometimes at the surface and stuff. You can also find all these in caves, and they do come in different varieties. Like, there's more than just, like, Drifter, Shiver, and Bowtorn. They also have different tiers. So, like, the ones you see up here on the surface where I'm at are called Surface Drifters, Bowtorns, and Shivers. And then they have Deep, which is the next level down, and then I think it's either Tainted or Corrupted after that, and then the other one, and then the final tier is Nightmare, which is just all just stronger versions of the same monsters. The Bowtorn walks on 2 legs like a person, but these are all mechanical entities, by the way. But they look like they have rib-like growths coming out of their back. And they shoot arrows at you. They do not like melee combat, so if you see a Bowtorn, you just kind of run at it with your sword. See, this is one of those surface caves I was talking about. And see, there's a Bowtorn right down there, actually. So, anyways, but I'm running out of food, so I need to get heading back to base. And so those are kind of your basic mobs that you'll see at all points in the game. The other ones that you have to watch out for, particularly in caves, should probably get that out of my hand there. Are locusts. And there's 2 varieties of locust that I'm aware of. I think there's a 3rd variety, but I've only seen 2. And that's the regular bronze locust. And these locusts are like these little 4-legged spiders. They're like the size of that fox that just ran off from me, if not a little smaller, actually. And the main danger about them is they attack in swarms. They're not super tough. Like with my iron sword, I hit them twice and they're dead, basically. However, they have a much more dangerous variety called the saw blade locust, which is same monster, but it has a tail and a saw blade attached to the tail, and it whips that saw blade at you, and it's really nasty. So this is a ruin that I just walked up to here, where I parked my boat, and you can see my sailboat mast right there behind it. So, to give you some more story context, Vintage Story takes place in a post-apocalyptic world. Just FYI. Okay, thought I saw a jar over here. And so, see, there's one of those portals I was talking about. You see that kind of weird off-colored thing over there on top of that hill? That's one of those portals. If I get too close to that, it'll start spawning monsters at me. But yeah, you can see the ruins here, built out of cobblestone, left from previous civilization. You can sometimes find loot items in them. But yeah, this buzzsaw, or the sawblade locust. Hate those things. And then the final mob that I'm familiar with, because I had to fight a couple, is the bell. Oh, goodness. Hold on. My boat has gotten iced in here. Come on. Come on. Let me break that ice. Yep, go away, ice. Come on. Oh, wait, I think it's the front is frozen. But the bell is a special type of mob that specifically summons other or more mobs to come and harass you and attack you. And it looks like a bell bouncing around on like a single kind of leg thing here. Come on, let me out of the ice, please. This is part of the reason in winter I don't tend to travel very much. Alright, come on. Because I need to get this all broken out so I can get my boat free. There we go. Oh yeah, I know, I'm hungry. I got it, game. There we go, we're free. We're free enough. Alright, let's get sailing home. Alright. Got a third-person mode here. Do I have anything I can eat? Yeah, I can eat this. Okay. Didn't want to eat that. There. Okay. Oh yeah, no, this is so much better. Now this is a sailboat, so it is kind of an investment of time to make one of these. Like, this was like my entire first year of flax harvest to make this sailboat. Oh yeah, no, this game has multiplayer. As a matter of fact, I have a multiplayer server for my for my community, my followers, stuff, my Patreons. You don't have to be a Patreon to get this particular server. All future servers will be for Patrons only, but this particular one I've opened up to all members of my community. And it's a multiplayer, vanilla Vintage Story server, so basically very similar to what I'm playing right now. And it's going to be going live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, it's definitely got multiplayer. Heavily supports multiplayer. Because it's also got classes. So, now, in this particular solo playthrough I'm doing, I've got the class stuff turned off so that I can be any class, make any of the class items. And I'm just playing a commoner, which has no positives or negatives. The other classes all have positive and negative traits that affect how you kind of play the game. And in the multiplayer server, I'm going to be playing a class called a malefactor, which basically, they have less hit points than your standard person. They do less melee damage, but in exchange, they get better loot drops from foraging plants and stuff, better loot drops from foraging ruins, basically getting stuff out of ruins, and basically they just get a higher amount of loot drop, I should say. Not necessarily better items. And then they also have a much lower detection range. Best class, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to just survive and wander around the world, Malefactor or Hunter are going to be your two best choices, because they both are very good at survival type stuff. If you want to fight things like a fighter, your best class is Blackguard. Now, the problem with Blackguard is you're always going to be starving to death, because Blackguards lose their hunger bar empties 35% faster than everyone else, or 30% faster than everyone else. Just period, the end. This is a road I built, by the way. I carved through this mountain to build this road between my brand new dock and storehouse there. That's a warehouse that I built. There's a Bowtorn back there. I'm going to get out of the way of that Bowtorn before you decide to shoot me. So there's that. Now, if you want to make probably the best sort of mid-tier armor in the game, in my opinion, Tailor. Because you can make the tailored gambeson, which, for comparison between negative stats on the armor and how much protection it provides, it is absolutely the best. Like, for the amount of negatives that armor puts on you, you get the most protection per mile, which is actually what I'm wearing in this game. So when we get back to the house where I'm not at risk of being overrun by drifters and such, I'll show you the stats and what I'm talking about here. And if you have the class stuff turned on with the class-specific recipes, only the tailor can make that armor. Everyone can make the regular gambeson armor, but it's not as good as the tailored gambeson armor, if that makes sense. There we go. Okay, now that I'm back home. Exactly. Matter of fact, on my on my server that's about to go live tomorrow, I actually have the global auction house turned on, meaning that there's NPC traders all over the map. Like there's one right here that's like my local goods trader. If you have the global auction house turned on, you can go to any of these traders and be like, hey, I want to put this thing up for sale. And they're like, okay, and you just access the global auction house tab that they've got. And any other player on that server can go to some other trader and buy the things on that global auction house. So yes, it does encourage an economy and trading and stuff. Oh yeah, okay, I got it. We're starving. We're starving. My character complaining about food. So this is my cellar where I store my food. And yes, having an actual cellar is important because it makes your food last longer. Yeah. All right. You gonna stop complaining now, character? You've had some food now? Okay. Alright, let me put this stuff away real quick. I need to get this bear hide in the water. Yeah, so, like, alright. So I'm gonna look at this. So this is my ceramic storage vessel. Stored, perish food speed. Vegetables perish at at 0.12 the normal rate, so meaning they'll last, instead of saying, well, here, we'll just open this up. So, like, for example, these pears, these are a fruit. And if we look at this, that means it has a 0.15 perish speed. Inside this storage unit, inside this cellar, it lasts 1.2 years. Alright? 1.2 years, that pear will stay fresh. I put that same pear in my inventory 26 days. And considering in my world I have each month sent to 12 days, that's just 2 days over a month, or 2 months there. Back in here, back up to 1.2 years. And if I come out here and look at this storage chest, you can see it also has a perish speed ratio of how long it's going to want to... Yeah. You should see, if you want to see something ridiculous, let me show you the grains. Alright, so I'm gonna grab this spelt grain, put it in my inventory. In my inventory, the spelt lasts 88 days, or just under a year, right? You know, right about 9 months or so. If I take this spelt grain and put it back in the storage vessel. 17.8 years that will stay fresh in that jar in my cellar. it's just some of the stuff can get ridiculous. Now, part of that's because it's winter time, so it's naturally colder out here. So during the summer, that's going to go down to like 7 years instead of 17 years. So, but still, you know, it's very important to have a cellar for long-term food preservation in this game. Same with these crocks. These crocks I've got here, these specialized bowls with lids. Same thing. You put your food in them to make them last, to make the food last longer. Which is why I'm carrying one around with me. So this stew I made in this crock that was sitting on a shelf in my cellar for like, you know, a couple weeks or like a week in game already. Now that it's sitting in my inventory, not in the cellar, and now that I've unsealed it because I'd sealed it shut with fat, animal fat, to make it last even longer, it'll still last for 5 days in my inventory. You know. So, it's just the whole thing. Alright, what time is it in game? Yeah, it's like 8 p.m. in game. And there's high rift activity, meaning there's a lot of those portals around. So I've got food taken care of. I do need to heal myself, though. Yeah, I'll just use these bandages, because, I mean, those bandages aren't exactly, like, the best bandages in the world. There we go. And one more. There, that'll get me all nice and healed up. This is like my rock collection of like little interesting rocks I've collected, by the way. And that loud scream you just heard was my elk mount. There's all kinds of stuff, like that's my recurved bow, which is the bow the hunter can make if you play the hunter class. This is where I do my blacksmithing in here and make my tools. You can see the drifters trying to come through my fence wall at me. And then this is my charcoal pit, where I make charcoal. I have to check it occasionally, because monsters like to spawn in there because it's dark. And, like, smelting's the whole thing in this game. Oh, here's various artifacts I picked up from various ruins I've been to. Including this nice crystal skull thing I found. Okay. And this is my chainmail. So, alright, that's the other thing I was going to talk to you about. So let's look at armor values real quick. So I'm going to grab my chainmail helmet here. And I'm going to put it in here, and then I'm going to open up my character sheet so we can see what I'm wearing. Let's make this movable. There we go. Oh, I want to make this movable. Oh, wow, okay. Now it's all individual. Never mind. I can go back to fixed. Cool. So anyways, my iron chainmail helmet. So this is a chainmail helmet made out of iron. It has a flat damage reduction of 1.3 hit points, with a protection rate, or protection of 84%, and a protection tier of 3. To break down what this means is if all animals and creatures in the game have a damage rating tier. So, for example, my iron sword is an attack tier of 4. So if I was to attack someone wearing this iron chainmail, my sword would have greater effect because it's got a higher attack tier than the protection tier. So, but any attack tier of 3 or less, my armor will give me full protection against, meaning it will automatically reduce all damage by 1.3 hit points worth of damage, and then anything beyond that by 84%. It's really cool, right? If I'm doing the math right, if I remember correctly, exactly how this works. Now, the penalty for that protection, because this iron chainmail is also really good for, like, I'm going to go raid POI's armor. So if, like, you're going to a point of interest, you're going to fight the enemies there. Iron chainmail's pretty good. There is better protection, but you get more of these negatives that we're about to go over. So, healing effectiveness, minus 10%. So those bandages I just applied to myself, not as effective while I'm wearing my armor. Hunger rate, plus 7%. So I'm going to burn through my hunger bar faster. You know, ranged weapon accuracy, minus 3%. So I'm not as good with my bow, which is very annoying since I like to use my bow. Ranged weapon charge time, plus 6%, meaning it takes me even longer to draw the bow back. And walk speed, minus 3%. So you just walk slower. And that's just for the helmet. So let's go put this helmet back on my thing here. Let's grab... Come on. No. There we go. Let's grab the shirt. So my chainmail shirt. Notice it has another 10% minus on healing, another plus 7% hunger rate, and all that. It has the exact same negatives, and they do stack. Now, if we go over to my tailored gambeson, the one that the tailor can make, it has, for the helmet, a 0.75 health or hit point damage reduction, flat, just straight off the top. So not a full hit point, but, 0.75. It has a 75% protection rating for all damage after that. Now, it only has a protection of tier 2. So, do you want to fight bosses or nightmare drifters in this? No. Fighting wolves and other hostile surface mobs? Absolutely fine. It'll give you its maximum protection against their attacks. And the only price is minus 10% healing effectiveness, which, okay. And then, plus 3% hunger rate. That's it. That's the only negatives, and that's for each piece. So, for your walking around, just foraging and working around the base, the tailored gambeson is, like, priceless. For your, I'm going to, dungeons and stuff, your iron chainmail is, it's not best in slot, but it's certainly a good space to be at. And that's a bit quick rundown on armor in Vintage Story. There's other armors that you can get earlier on in the game and stuff that are better in certain situations. Oh, that box is full. Hold on. This box is not full. Okay, there we go. For example, somewhere around here. Yeah, stashed in this box, for example, I have the bear armor, which is armor made out of bear pelts. And it's pretty decent for a tier 1 armor. It's really good for cold weather stuff when you're still pretty early on, assuming you can kill bears. I mean, you don't want to fight a bear in this armor. I'm gonna be very honest with you about that. And the trick to killing bears is you trap them in a pit and shoot arrows or throw spears at them. And just in case people are curious, that's how I kill bears in this game. But the first armor you can actually make is this wood lamellar, which you basically take some firewood and you cut it up and you tie it together with ropes and stuff. And that's perfectly fine for dealing with, like, wolves. It won't save you from a wolf, like, if it keeps attacking you, but you'll survive the first 2 hits, which is long enough for you to decide if you want to stand and fight or run away. So, there you go. Now I'm going to put away the stuff I brought back from my little adventure here. Stack this firewood over here. And then, let's see here, I've got some copper, which is good, because that's part of the reason I went out mining as well, is to get copper. And then I was going to take... Yeah, alright, so we need to get that out of there. Got 14 liters left. Yes, okay, so I can make leather out of this bear skin. There we go. I'm going to put these hides in here just to save them. And then we're going to do the next step of making leather. So, to make leather, you take fresh animal pelts, you soak them in lime water. Alright? And then you get these... Where did I put it? Oh, they're there. And then you get these soaked hides out of that lime water after, like, a day. And then you take your knife and you scrape them to make scraped hides. Alright? And then you'll take your scraped hides and you'll get some weak tannin, and you put them in here with weak tannin, which you make out of water and oak logs in the area I'm in. There's another log you can use, but in the temperate zones it's oak. And that gives you these prepared hides. And then you'll get a strong tannin, which is a weak tannin plus more oak logs. That's it. And then you'll throw those in here. And I'm going to actually get a few more here. Yeah, I got some more I can put in there. We can do up to 12 at a time with one barrel. Alright, I can get 2 more. Okay. This is how much strong tannin it takes to do this. And you put this in there, and you seal it up. Yes, you can. So I'm actually wearing some. So you see this this fur coat that I'm wearing, and these fur boots and gloves. That's actually made out of the rough hides. So you notice how I had those 2 hides that I didn't put in the bucket that says raw hides. So what I'll do for these is I can take these, and I can take this animal fat I got, And it only takes one for these medium hides to do 2 of them. And you see that that'll turn into a oiled hide that says curable, so I can do that. I can take it out, and I'm just going to leave it in my inventory, because that's the fastest way to do this. And after some time, it'll dry and become a pelt, which is a cured hide. So basically, the raw hides will rot if you don't do anything with them. But once you've cured them into pelts, they'll last forever, but you can't turn them into leather. That's the drawback. But it's much faster and easier to make these cured pelts than it is to make leather. So, your first step before you make leathers, you make pelts. And then the pelts you can use to make all kinds of stuff. So, any item in the game, just since you're looking at going and getting the game, you can hover your mouse over it and press the H key, and it'll bring up what you can do with it. So this is the handbook. So it's telling me I have this cured pelt. I can use it to make lamellar armor, which you can make like wood lamellar. You can make, tin bronze, copper lamellar. You can use it to make the fur coat. You can use it to make the reindeer shoes, reindeer jacket, and you can use it to make the hunter backpacks. So that's how you add inventory, is you add backpacks. And you also can use them to make the longbow, which is the second best bow in the game. And then you can click on any of these items and it'll show you the extended recipe, for example. So to make a longbow, you need a dry bow staff, some animal fat, some leather, and some string, or you can use a bow staff, some animal fat, pelt, and some string. There you go. And the handbook is a lifesaver. As I'm wearing this fur coat because it's one of the best in slot, like, I need warm gear things. I think the reindeer herder coat, I think, is slightly better. Yeah. But it also requires more stuff. So not only do you need pelts, it'll kind of tell you how to get most things. Like, for example, like it's telling me I need these bolts of cloth to make this into pelts and this sewing kit. So I can click on the bolt of cloth and tell me, oh, you need some linen and a stick to make a bolt of cloth. Okay, well, how do I get linen? Click on that. Oh wait, that's telling me how to get I just need the normal linen. Well, you just take 4 pieces of string and put it in a square, and it makes linen. Okay, well, how do I get string? You just need 4 flax fibers. Okay, well, how do I get flax fibers? You get it by growing flax. See? You can work your way back through all of it. And it'll tell you what to do. And just like if you needed to figure out, well, how do I get blue cloth, it'll tell you, well, you need to make blue dye and add it to your blue cloth. And you can make blue dye by getting water, corn flowers, and there you go. So, it'll tell you how to do all that. And this is actually one of those things that only the tailor can make, by the way. This particular clothing item. Actually, I should probably make myself a reindeer herder cloak, just because it is so cold out in the game. But yeah. Well, since we're back at base, and let's see here. I have an iron axe. I have a shovel. I don't need this shovel for the moment. I don't need pickaxe for a moment. And I don't need that for a moment. Where's my knife? There's my knife. And by default, I think the days are around... Lord, I have to think about that. I think it's 20-ish minutes or something. No, it's got to be... I think 20-ish sounds about right, I think, for a day. Right, let me show you how blacksmithing works, since we're sitting here talking about stuff. So, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted a whole bunch more copper for making stuff. So, you can get these copper nuggets by panning, or you can go and mine copper ore, which then you take your hammer and you smash it, and it breaks it into nuggets for you to use. Alright? Now, the reason I need copper right now is I want to make brass. Okay? Well, how do you make brass? Does anyone in the class know? Alright, do I have any more of that? No. Wow. I'm running low on this. Okay. Ah, it's not iron. It is copper and zinc. But close, though. It was a good guess. So, I have some zinc already, which I'm going to have to get some more soon. That's the last of the zinc I've got. But basically, now I need a fuel source. In this case, I'm using charcoal. Notice a big charcoal pit behind me that I use to make charcoal. So I just have a crate full of charcoal here. We're going to open up my crucible that's on a fire pit. So this is just a basic campfire with a crucible in it. And I'm going to come in here, and if I do H on my copper, it'll tell you, okay, you can get it from these sources, you can make these tools out of it, you can smash these ores for it, or you can alloy it for these materials. So there's bismuth bronze, black bronze, brass, crop nickel, which I'm not even near yet, molybdenous bits, I'm not even sure what that, I've never seen that word before, and then tin bronze. We're interested in brass, so we can click on that. It'll tell you, okay, so you need 30 to 40% zinc, and then 60 to 70% copper. So it tells you your ratios. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and make that. And I have 8 ingot molds, so I can make 800 units of brass. So let's see here. Let's get this loaded up. And let's do that. I'm going to need some more. Well, that's getting us close. We're at 730. Throw some more copper in there because I'm a little copper rich, and I'd rather save on the brass right now. But there we go. There's 800. I do that with one less? No. I do need that one nugget of brass, or zinc. There we go. Alright, so there's our mixture of zinc and copper to make our brass. We're going to throw... we'll try 6 pieces of charcoal and see if that's enough. Oh. How do you light the fire? Because notice it didn't just automatically light. Well, I carry around lit torches in my inventory, because I can then just hold the torch and right-click on the fire here, and it lights. Now, here's the trick about this. There's a reason I keep them in my inventory and not on my hotbar. If I fall into the water with them on my hotbar, it will put the torches out. However, in your backpack, that's what this square is, torches don't go out. Just so people know. See that question a lot. Oh no, my torches went out. And to show you how the backpack system works, just because I did mention it earlier. So, this entire grid here next to the crafting window, which you open by pressing the E key, is your backpack space. And that's provided by these 4 slots here on your hotbar. These are for backpacks and other items of that nature. And so, I can take that one off and it removes the last 6. And yes, it is locationally. So, like, if I put this down in here and mouse over it, it'll tell me there's a stack of ports in that backpack. So, just helpful information, since I got people that look like they're thinking about getting the game. And we can watch this, because it does have to get up to certain temperatures, like to smelt the to smelt the copper, it's got to get up to 1084 degrees Celsius. In the game, by default, it's in Celsius, for people who don't know. Where the zinc's got a much lower smelting temperature, but it's got to get it all melted up together. And that's the progress bar showing you how it's going. And I think we're probably going to need... yeah, I think we're probably going to need a full 9 stack of charcoal I grabbed. And then, since I still have time to wait on it... Ooh, wait, I almost made a mistake. I'm going to need my tongs. Because hot metal will hurt you if you pick up hot metal. So you need a pair of tongs for that. Okay, it looks like things have calmed down a little bit out here. Well, I'm going to grab my lantern before I go outside. There we go. That was about to be foolish of me. So, it kind of is and isn't. In the sense of, you know, it is based on real-world metallurgy as far as mixing the metals and stuff. Because that is really how you make brass and tin. They use the right materials for it. Whether or not their ratios are exact, I'm not sure. I haven't checked personally. But it's pretty close as far as I can tell to what they can represent real world wise. The thing I want to show you is like, so this is my windmill setup up here. Because you can build windmills to make power. You can't see it real well at night. But this is my quern for grinding stuff, so I can come over here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. And you can put like grains in here to get flour when the wind's blowing. The wind is currently not blowing, apparently. It is similar to Crate Mod. A lot of people who play Minecraft are familiar with Crate Mod. And they see a lot of similarities. This is my Helve Hammer for doing some automated smithing. And so if I flip this lever, it will turn it on and connect it to the windmill. But you can see how slowly it's turning. It wouldn't do much. So I just thought I'd show you that while we wait for this stuff to heat up down here. That Helve Hammer is kind of my pride and joy. How are we doing on here? It's still smelting. The other thing I've got that's kind of my pride and joy, it's also the first time I've ever gotten one of these, is this pickaxe right here. It's a meteoric iron pickaxe. It's the most advanced tool I've got so far. It's so cool that I refuse to use it and just leave it there on my wall because it looks nice. And that's all the meteoric iron I own right there. There's 5 ingots in that one pickaxe. So my 6 total ingots I've had. Alright. It's almost there. I think it is going to take that full stack of 9 charcoal I grabbed. And so these are like my tool molds for casting. Once you get into the Iron Age, you can't do that. So meteoric iron has much higher durability. So for example, if I get my... That's not it. If I get my regular iron pickaxe and my meteoric iron pickaxe, they have the same tier level of tier 4. They're both effectively iron tools for game calculation purposes. But the meteoric iron has 30% more durability, as well as the material itself is also more rare. And that 30% extra durability applies to anything you make out of meteoric iron. So you make armor out of it, the armor's got 30% more durability. You know, things like that. Alright. So we're almost done smelting. And there we go. There's our crucible full of molten metal, which I'm now holding in my tongs. So we're going to crouch by pressing shift, and we're going to right click on this, and it will pour 1 ingot's worth of metal into each one of these as I hold right click on each one. And this is how we make brass. I actually have a small meteoric iron node near my base here that I've yet to mine out. I need to go mine it out. That meteoric iron I've got right there, I actually found on a big expedition I went on several streams and episodes ago. I was out at a place called The Village, which here, I'll open up the map and give you an idea. Yes, that was a chicken. Would you like to see my chickens? How are we doing out here? I don't see anything hostile. So this is my elk, by the way, with his saddle and everything. So that's a mount you can get in the game. And then if we go to the second group over here, this little area I've got, you can hear them. They're starting to go a little crazy in here. I have to close the door because they're still a little wild. They will try to escape. You can see here they've got some eggs that they're guarding. And so basically, you see I've got these holes in the floor here. When the eggs hatch, the chicks fall down there. I just heard a bowtorn. You hear that thunk sound? Yeah, there's a bowtorn up on that hill shooting at me. Okay. But anyways, when the eggs hatch, the chicks fall down here and get kind of separated over into this room over here. And that's so that I can basically increase the generation of my chickens. So animals don't tame until you've raised 10 generations of them. At that point, they'll stop being scared of you. Like right now, you can see the chickens are all freaking out because I'm standing in here. That's because these are all fairly low generations. Like these two are just generation 1. I'm going to want to get rid of them soon. And that's the rooster over there. I keep him separate because if you don't, when more roosters hatch, they will fight and kill each other. Where's that bowtorn? I hear him. There he is. Alright, that bowtorn's just being a pain in the butt. Where are you? Come here. Come here, Protorn. See, they don't like to fight melee. That's why he's trying to run from me. There we go. That's a Botorn for you. That's a surface Botorn. There we go. And they drop flat. One of the things I like about the drifters and stuff is they drop flax. Yeah, no, those things are awful looking. They're not as bad as the shivers, though. And you can see the arrows are firing. How does this compare to Haven and Hearth, in my opinion? From a grind-wise, it is similar in as far as like harvesting materials and going out and doing things like... These are all berry bushes I've gone out and found and brought back to my base. This is my fruit tree orchard that I've gone out and collected cuttings of and planted. You know, that's my greenhouse I built over there to keep growing crops in wintertime. Like, you know, so Haven and Hearth-wise, if you like the building and the survival aspects of Haven and Hearth, very similar. Very. It has none of the skills, like you don't do any XP gain or leveling up or anything like that, like you do in Haven and Hearth. You don't have any of that. It's all just about the materials grind. This is also where I keep my bees. These are my bee ships. It's wintertime, so the bees aren't doing anything right now, which is why I'm not bothering the bees. But that's where I keep my bees. And this is my outdoor farm over here, inside here. I've got some rye I'm letting grow over winter. I mean, the rye is not going to fully grow. It's not going to keep growing in this weather, but it won't die. It's the only thing I have that can survive this cold weather that we've got during winter time here. Outside, anyways. And so this pen right here that we haven't gone into yet, this is going to be my sheep pen for where I'm going to raise sheep. I've captured the sheep, I just have not moved the sheep into the pen yet. And this over here is my pig farm. Here's my boar, chilling out. And if you notice, the pigs don't care that I'm here. The pigs only care if they've got babies. And this is my sow, she's Generation 2. And she is pregnant with Generation 3 right now. So, you know, the snow kept me from exiting there. It is very immersive. Oh, thanks. And if you want to see, now you can see my windmills now that the sun's up, by the way. Those are not the most pretty windmills in the game. Like, I've seen people build much prettier looking windmills than I have, but they are functional. And the higher up they are, to a point, increases how functional they are. Those aren't, like, at best altitude, but they're certainly more than good for what I've got and what I need them for. And if you want, I'll take you to go see the sheep I've captured. Which, these sheep, they've tried my patience, by the way. This is the second set of sheep I've captured. The first set of sheep I captured beat me to death. Yes, that's right. I was beaten to death by sheep in this game. My wife laughed at me quite a bit about it. So here we go. You see this giant pile of fencing over here? This is where I'm keeping my sheep. Let's see here. Have y'all given birth to my... Hello! So we've got... You did give birth, and the sheep grew up. Alright, we're gonna have to fix that. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna knock out this piece of fence. Grab it real quick. So this is my... Ew, this is my... See, she just tried to headbutt me there. Oh, how do I control them? So, once they reach Generation 3, they basically stop being hostile to you. The sheep do. They're not tame yet, but they won't, like, just attack you when you walk up. And you can actually start milking them and stuff. At Generation 10, you can, like, lead them around with a rope and reposition them. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kill the ram, because I don't need the extra ram. And then I'll get a trap, and I'll put a trap in there to capture the next lamb she has. Yeah. Back off. Go on. I want to close up the gate. Okay, there we go. Alright. So I'll have to bring her some more food. so that she'll get pregnant again. Because to get pregnant, they have to eat food. And it's like they have to eat food 10 times, not just once. And then they have to gestate and give birth eventually and stuff. It's a whole process. But I also figured out why I couldn't get my previous sheep captured into the traps I've made for them. Just like 2 days ago. I happened to stumble across the answer of what I was struggling with there. But anyways, the general answer to all that is once the animals reach generation 10, they're passive. And you can do whatever you want with them at that point. Like, the chickens and stuff, once they're generation 10, you can just go up to them with a basket and pick them up and move them around. Same with the piglets and stuff. So, one of the good things about wintertime, though, I'll go ahead and show you this, is you can see, like, all the snow and stuff on the ground. The crops, like this, stick out more. So this is wild spelt. So if you're needing seeds, it's a good time to go looking for seeds. Now I'm going to leave that alone because it's not mature. I prefer to harvest the wild crops when they're fully grown. Because not only do you get the seed, you also then get a small amount of the crop itself. Like, I'd get some grain. You know, not just the seed for the grain. But I am going to come over here and harvest some mushrooms. And so, you do have to be careful about mushrooms in this game. Some are poisonous. Now, these chicken of the wood mushrooms are not. These are actually perfectly good to eat in the game. And I think in real life, too. But I'm not an expert forager, so don't trust my word on that. But this, as far as I can tell from my limited knowledge of mushrooms and foraging, they actually seem to have been pretty accurate on what mushrooms are safe to eat and which ones aren't. So there's those. And like, if we wander around, I'm sure we'll find some more mushrooms. So some people struggle with finding food in wintertime, and it is tough. Like none of the berries will be ready to harvest or anything like that. But there will be things like some of those mushrooms are good that you can find that are ready to harvest. There will be wild animals you can hunt. Oh, we got some white oyster mushrooms. But that's also why, during your first year, if you can, you want to get, like, a farm down during that first month and grow some food. Like turnips. Turnips are an excellent food source in this game. So I actually got sort of lucky in my spawn in this. I spawned near, you see this orange stone? That's bauxite. In the real world, we'd call that aluminum ore, but in this game, we can't make it into aluminum ore. Oh, I got bowthorn. Alright, come here, you two. If you're gonna be jerks. Yep, One's dead. There we go. But bauxite is used to make refractory bricks in this game. Oh, we got some more flax, which is good. Always take more flax. And so these are those arrows I shoot. They have a chance to drop arrows. It is like satisfactory. Yep. That is correct. So you use this to make refractory bricks, which I've been working on making some refractory bricks because I'm trying to get into steel in this game. And I'd like to have steel. And you need a cementation furnace for that. You gotta watch out for these straight down shafts like that. Those are dangerous. I nearly fell into that one several times this playthrough. Alright. Trying to decide what I want to work on next. Since mining halite didn't work out for me. Oop, I do see something I'm going to go grab real quick. I'm going to decide how I want to approach that halite area. So I'm sure there's halite somewhere over there. I should probably take another pickaxe with me. So this is a pine tree. It is one of 2 trees in the game that generates resin. So there's not really eras in the game itself. Like, now some people call the different like levels of technology you can kind of get to eras. The game itself takes place in a post-apocalyptic world that experienced the apocalypse somewhere around, you know, 1350 to 1400. So, you know, they had, like, sort of basic steam technology and stuff like that. And basically a scientist made a discovery. We'll call him a scientist. A scholar is what he called himself in the game. Is what the game calls him. And he basically made an alchemical discovery that allowed him to do semi-magical things through very strange steam tech type technologies. There we go. That's one of the mushrooms I was looking for. And it also allowed him to, like, advance the world a bit and make really cool stuff and help out the people and stuff. You know, it was all very good. That's how they made automatons, like the locusts. He created the locusts, that's right. Those enemies I was talking about earlier. They're from this world, and they were created by that guy to help farmers and stuff. The drifters are theoretically some sort of automaton that was created by that guy, among other things. But then they encountered, you know, a new problem arose, and while trying to fix it, things just kept getting worse. And he kind of eventually came up with this plan to save humanity. And that caused an event to happen. And the problem they were fighting went away, as did a large portion of humanity. And we have you spawn into the game, if math lines up right, somewhere around 500-ish years after that has happened. And you are from that time frame, sort of, but you have no memory of it, but you have, like, all the skills that you had at that time frame. Is the easiest way to explain it. So, like, you know how to build all the technology. You know how to build windmills. You know how to build the weird advanced, like, you know, sort of magitech, you know, steampunk tech the guy was designing and using. I mean, you don't know how to build drifters because you weren't the guy himself, but you know how to build, like... So, here, I'll show you. So one of the loot items you can get off the monsters are these temporal gears. You know how to use these temporal gears to make advanced pieces of technology. Where the people who you find, like the traders and the merchants and the stuff, they don't. They're humans that somehow survived the apocalypse after whatever happened, and they have none of that knowledge. So, to give you an idea. But as far as the game itself, the developers, from my understanding, are basically talking, like, once they finish the game, and then the story's all finished, and their technology's all kind of finished as far as what they want in the base game, it'll be, like, early Steam era. So you might not have, like, Steam trains and stuff, but you might have, like, small Steam engines that can run small machines. Kind of a thing. Yes, scrap mechanic might not be a bad place to kind of pin the technology level once the game's all finalized. So, since we're talking about that, next major update that they're working on currently, and the devs have been teasing videos of, water wheels are coming, and as are rivers. Like, you saw me sailing my sailboat out here in this ocean area, but if you notice, there's no rivers on my map. You don't really see any rivers, right? As we kind of look around at the map. Well, that's a change. It's apparently coming in the next major update that they're working on. Is they're working on adding rivers and fishing, and to go along with that, they're going to add water wheels that you can put in certain areas in the river to get another source of mechanical power besides just windmills. And so people are very excited about this. As long as they're also teasing other things, like major updates. Like this major update, yeah, the maps are random. Like the map I made for my multiplayer server today, completely different spawn location and everything. And, like, I have a Snowball Earth series where the entire world's frozen that I'm working on as well when I'm not doing my vanilla playthrough. Again, completely different. Matter of fact, you can completely tweak the settings when you create the world. Like, how much ocean do you want? Default's, like, tiny. It's like 2% oceans on the world or something. This one is generated at the oceans take up 30% of the world. Because I wanted there at least to be some oceans for me to sail around in. Things like that. You can generate, like, how much elevation changes you have spread throughout the world. You can, heck, you can even turn off the story content if you don't want to do any story content. And, you can even turn off the drifters and all those hostile mobs. There's a whole ton of customization whenever you're setting up your world. Oh, good. My brass is ready. Oh, I didn't want the mold. I wanted the brass. There we go. Well, actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this brass, and we're going to go ahead and do something I was planning to do anyways. So yeah, that's all stuff that you can change and customize, and it randomly generates the world. And you can save the seed if you want. If you like that generation and want to keep using it for some reason. So, like, they've put a lot of effort into this game in the way they've set it up. Alright, let's put my flax in there. Where are my arrows? Arrows? I know I've got arrows stuffed in a box around here somewhere. Ah, right. I made an arrows box. Okay. Yeah, we'll start with these. So let me grab some charcoal. Yeah, that should be plenty. Alright. We're going to use our hellhammer. So this is a forge. Going to throw some charcoal in it. Throw 4 ingots in there. Grab our torches out. And light her up. I'm going to show you how the hellhammer works. Mostly because I need brass plates right now. That's the whole reason I'm making brass, is I need brass plates. Because I want to make some torch holders for lighting up some areas of my base with torches. So, these torches, just like in Minecraft, I can right-click and put it on the wall. Cool? Yeah? That torch will go out after 48 hours in-game, and it's no longer useful. That torch is now dead completely. I can knock it down, pick it back up, and it goes right back in. And as long as they're in my inventory, they'll never go out, they'll never expire or anything like that. If you don't want your torches to expire, you can put them in a torch holder, and they will last forever. The only torch holders you can make in the base game, you have to make out of brass. You can find another type of torch holder called an aged torch holder, which I actually have one. I found one in a ruin. I brought it back and put it in my base. But if you want to make them, you have to use brass. So that's why I was like, oh, I need brass, Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these. I'll wait for these to heat up, and then I'll turn the hellhammer on. I also love the music in this game. It's very good. There we go. And then to make brass plates, so the hellhammer will only make plates out of ingots like this. You can put 2 ingots on the hammer, and it will turn them into 1 brass plate. And if you're making chainmail like I have downstairs, make a hellhammer first. Don't be like me. Don't go crazy and make a full set of chainmail with just a hammer on your anvil. You'll be blacksmithing for like 4 or 5 real-world hours in the game. Or about 3 to 4 days in game just to make a set of chainmail. I noticed that brass plate came out still hot. It's still like 920 degrees Celsius right now. Alright. And one of the things I do want to do eventually is I actually am going to build a second hellhammer that hits on the same anvil to make it craft even faster. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna make 2 more brass plates, and then we'll be done making brass plates. And this is my pulverizer. So you know I was talking about bauxite earlier and making these refractory bricks. Well, that's fire clay. My refractory bricks are downstairs. So you take the bauxite and you put it in the pulverizer here, which I have another toggle for turning it on and off, and it'll crush it. Same with, like, you know, quartz for making quartz powder for making things and all that stuff. There's so much depth to this game. Like, I know there's talk that at some point they'll probably add, like, an alchemy system to the game as well. Because the lore definitely talks about, like, alchemy in the game. Like, that's how the guy was making those temporal gears and stuff, was through alchemy. So, all things to come. Well, since we're sitting here blacksmithing a little bit in the game, we'll talk about progression a little bit more, because people were asking about it. So, notice I'm working this brass on a tin bronze anvil. To work a metal, you have to have at least the tier below it. So, for example, if you want to work iron, you have to have a bronze anvil like that. You know, and a, you know, bronze hammer, I think. It might just be the anvil. I can't remember if it's, like, it has to be the same on the hammer as well. And just like if you want to work steel, you have to have an iron anvil and an iron hammer and all that. So now, I'll show you how we make the torch holders. So you just take 2 brass plates like that, and it makes you 2 brass torch holders. There you go. And now, we're going to take this, because I needed another pickaxe, I think. Yeah, this one's got about half durability left on it. So we're going to make 1 more pickaxe. And we're also going to make a couple arrows. Yeah, alright. So here we go. The reason I do 2 pieces of charcoal is because I like to get my ingots up to maximum temperature, which is 1100 degrees Celsius in the game. This gives me more time to work with them. Grab my hammer real quick. Actually, let me grab 1 more ingot. I only have 1 hammer, so I should make a second hammer. I always like to have 2 hammers, just in case I break one. Alright. After this... What's my streaming schedule? So I don't actually have a hard and fast schedule, but fairly typically, I stream at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturdays and Sundays. And then this week I've kind of started streaming most nights, starting around 8 to 8:30 Eastern Standard Time in the evenings. Because I actually find that while I do long-form content some, that was primarily what I was doing, I actually prefer streaming. I get better watch hours, it's more fun interacting with the chat and all that. So, I haven't, like, finished finalizing my stream schedule, but, you know, typically that's when you should look for me. It was like, you know, around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time during the week, and then, you know, around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturdays and Sundays. And sometimes I'll do 2 streams on those days. Like, I'll do one at 2 p.m. and then stop for dinner and have dinner with the family, and then I'll do another one at, like, the 8:30 mark again. So let's see here. We're going to do a pickaxe. And this is the blacksmithing minigame here. So, that's my general schedule. Alright. But I actually love this blacksmithing minigame. It's very well done. And they're moving more and more of their crafting into this style of crafting from the crafting grid. Like, the pottery works this way, in the sense that you're making things out of the little squares. You know, making your stone tools works this way, because you nap the heads of the stone tools. You know, things like that. And then I wanted a hammer. Alright, so we're going to go this way. There we go. Alright, let's do... How do I do this? Yeah, we'll do it that way. We'll move this one up. Move that one over. And then up. And then over. There we go. And it's right click to rotate the project when I'm doing that. And we'll snip off the extra bits. And there we go. Now we have a hammer and a pickaxe head. Pickaxe. Hammer. So they're also talking about improving the blacksmithing, by the way. People are curious. They've been teasing some of that. Let's see, those are scales. I want arrowheads. There we go. If people are wondering why I'm making a whole bunch of iron arrowheads, it's because I know I'm going to need them for the next, like, major boss that I'm going to have to deal with in the game. At least to make my life easier. I need the arrowheads. Go. Go. Alright. And now this side. And... Alright, cool. Let's move these over, down, over, and then move all those down. Bring this one down. I actually find this to be a very fun pattern to craft, just because it requires a bit of thought. I have to go up, then over, and then down. And there we go. So we'll snip that one out, that one out. There we go. And there we go. 9 iron arrowheads. We're going to do that one more time just because I need lots of arrowheads. There we go. All right. And to bring up that menu where I'm changing what direction I'm hammering in, that's the F key, by the way. I know I hadn't mentioned that before, so I thought I would. Alright, so let's bring these over. And then down. There we go. Yeah, we'll do this one. To give you an idea of how much I like Vintage Story, I actually got my kid playing Vintage Story instead of Minecraft. And even he's just like, ooh, I love Vintage Story. But he loves it for different reasons. Like, he likes some of the survival aspects and some of the gameplay. But what he likes is how easy it is to mod this game. Because when they made this engine to run their own mods, because again, it started off as a set of Minecraft mods, they made it super easy to mod. You can quite literally just go to their mod database on their website and just be like, oh yes, I like that mod, let's add it to the game, and it will just download it and install it for you if you want to be that easy about it. Or you can download the zip file and save it into a folder, which is what I do. And then once you get all the zip files you want for all the mods you want, you can quite literally just take those zip files and copy them into your mod folder for the game. And all those mods are now installed. And if you want to install them, you just delete them out of the mod folder. And it's back to vanilla. That simple. There we go. Get these arrows made. Cool. And you can do that, and that's an easy way to keep track of, like, if you've got multiple mod setups. There we go. We got 27 iron arrows now. There's a temporal rift sitting in my farm. See that? There's a rift out there in my farm. It's hard to see from that angle. Alright, I'm going to put these tongs away. Top off my hunger. Yep. Alright, let's see what else we can offload here. I don't need all these ores that I'm carrying around. Like, copper can go in here. Same with the zinc. And... oh, do I have silver in here? I have galena. Lead. I do have silver. Let me put the silver in here. There we go. And put the galena in here, which is lead. Alright. That rift is sitting right on top of my seed box. Dang. I'll just store these tree cuttings in here. I found an apple tree when I was out and about and took some cuttings from it. Alright, so let me put this hammer away, because I don't need this hammer. There we go. Pick up my other pick and my pro pick, just so I have them. Put the charcoal away. And let's see here. I need that. I don't need those. Animal fat I keep in here. Do I have a place for chalk? Not really. Put the chalk in here. Chalk can go in there. So chalk is very important because it also counts as lime for making limestone or lime water. Oh. Okay, what about over here? Do I have a place in here for quartz? Nope. Alright, well, the quartz can go in here as well. There we go. Alright, I'll keep the ladder. I'll keep the torch holders. These hides can go in here. It'll slow down their curing process, but it's okay. There we go. That's much for sundown. And we'll sleep for the night. Just so we can get up and work in the daylight. But everyone having a good day out there today? I had a pretty good day. My son had a school showcase at his school today, where we went and got to see what they've been working on for the past, couple months, and we also put on a little sort of play type thing. Yep, the drifters are clearing out. Good. That was fun. So, my day's been pretty good. I hope you all have had a good day, too. I'm going to make a few more torches. There we go. So yes, you do make it and then light your torches after you've made them. There we go. You can also put them in your campfire to light them. Or you can use a fire starter, which is a tool for lighting fires. There we go. Got my torches. Perfect. Alright. Food. Right, I do need more food. About ran off without enough food. Good lord. Okay, so we'll grab 1, 2. 2 crocs of food should keep us in good stead. There we go. Grab that. Cool. I'm going to put this here in the inventory. That one there. There we go. A little bit of inventory management before we run out. Close all that. Close that up. I've never had a drifter spawn inside my house, but better safe than sorry. Now, the reason I needed these torch holders, I'll show you all. So this is my road. You notice I've got lanterns on it. I ran out of stuff to make lanterns, which is why I'm not making lanterns. I'm making torch holders. Specifically, I ran out of stuff to make the candles for the lanterns. Because you have to make candles to make lanterns. So I'm improvising with torch holders for them. But basically, I got enough torch holders and lanterns to get to the end of my road. And these keep monsters from spawning at nighttime, basically. In a limited area. So, very similar mechanic to Minecraft, if you're familiar with that. Can you hear a goat up on the hill somewhere? This is a cave I filled in, so like we can open that up. There's a cave down here. Nothing of value in the cave. And then you can see here where I switched to torch holders. And that's because I need another torch holder for like right over here somewhere. I'm thinking... Actually, what I can do... Do I have the... I don't have the materials on me. Okay, well. What we'll do is... I think this one just volunteered this piece of gravel here. Which is not great, because the gravel's not very stable. We'll do that one there. I've got one out here on the front, but I'm going to put one here at the corner. Just to give me a bit more light. But then the really important part was in here. I don't have any lights. So we're going to do a torch holder here at the back. We'll do one at the front. And we will see if that keeps things from spawning in here. I was having a problem with shivers spawning in here. I need to also make some storage chests to put in here, but that's all to come. And then this is my cellar I carved out here in the back. And so these are those mine supports I was talking about before, where you can put like mine supports in to keep roofs from collapsing in, because this is all mountain on top of us here. So, which actually, I'm gonna go mining again. That wouldn't be the worst thing to carry some mine supports with me. What I'd really like to find over here is a cave entrance. That might be a cave entrance, actually, right there. It's got a different coloration to it. Normally they're, like, white like that one. That is something else. What is that? The snow is making it hard to see cave entrances. Like, that one's not close enough to where I'm getting my readings. Oh, anyways, we'll just head over there and see what we find. Do I have anything in here? Got axe, pickaxe, extra sword. I do have some iron arrows I need to take back to base. Other stuff. I have a bunch of torches. I got 2 iron axes boat. Man, I need to actually check my boat's inventory more often. And more ore. Ah, good lord. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean out the boat as we back it out of our little area here. Go. Alright, let's get back over here and continue the hunt for halite and chromite and just other valuables, because we can. Let's see here. So we kind of want to park over in this area, but I don't want to get stuck again. We'll be a bit more careful about where we park the boat this time. It's like you can see the boats frosting over right now in this cold weather. I'm gonna eat my stew. There we go. Let's see if we can't find that halite. I really want some halite. I like to be able to store some of my meat long term. I'm also going to have to look around up here for more iron up in this area at some point. Because my iron mine I was mining in has played out on me. Let's turn a little further north there. But this is such a fun game. Beautiful game, too. Alright, let's do a better job of parking this thing instead of getting wedged in like we did last time. I think what we'll do this time, we'll like straight in a little bit here. And see if that doesn't do better. There we go. Alright. Can I get out onto the ice? I can. Alright, there we go. Let's see here. I am going to go explore this cave over here some. Assuming it's not like a straight drop. This cave is not really close to our halite readings, but you never know, you might get lucky. Right, so I'm going to need... So the reason I kept some boards with me is so I can do this real quick. There we go, it makes more ladders. What I should really do is carry some rope ladders with me. That's not going to work very well. There we go. That works. Okay. This in the offhand, sword in this hand. Because it's dark in here. There's a shiver. So people were asking about shivers earlier. There you go. We got a deep drifter. Stop it. Stop trying to hit me. Good lord, no, there's there. Alright. This place is active. Got a boat horn. Good lord. And this is just... And it's calm temporal activity out here too right now. That's the scary part. Got lots of quartz. Okay, we're going up. What's over here? Quartz. Just quartz. I mean, heck, we'll do a quick short range reading just to see if there's anything of interest in this area besides quartz. Quartz. Yeah. Wouldn't have guessed. Alright. Let's go back this way. I am curious what that light source I saw was, though. Okay, that's just surface shiver. That one got me. They don't hurt very much, especially when you're wearing armor like I am. Like, the deep shivers won't hurt a lot either, but they're just annoying. I'm more worried about this Bowtorn over here. See if he's cleared out. Yep, he's still there. Heard him shoot. Alright, where'd he go? Where is he? The real problem is... I don't know that I have a good way... No, no. Okay. Here we go. Where is he? We've got a ruin of some kind down here. You can hear the Bowtorn. Alright, so what we might want to do... Carefully get some of our torches. We're going to throw a torch down. Ouch. Ouch. Come on. Come here, drifters. Got it. Drifters will fight each other, by the way. If they accidentally hurt each other, they will fight each other. Alright. I hear him. Where is he? It's granite. Conglomerate. Okay, so he's up over there. There you are. Come here, Bowtorn. Why are you going down here? Okay. Aha! Got you to shoot your friend. There we go. Bowtorns are eliminated. What do we have here? Claystone again. Anything up this way? Doesn't look like it. Alright, let's get back to that ruin that I saw. Let's put this back over here, and we'll put these in here as well. So I want to see what was in that ruin before the Bowtorns decided to interrupt me. Alright. Come on, let me out of the hole. Drifter's there. Hi, Drifter. Out. There you go. Oh. Got a crawler. Alright, can I get like 2 seconds to go look at this ruin? Oh. Got andesite here. Anything back this way? No. Okay, so... But this... This is interesting. So this has a static translocator. So here we go. This is pretty good. Is there any, like... So this is also a place where you can sometimes find those aged torch holders I was talking about. But let's see here. So let's get this off. So let's open this up. We've got some sticks, some rusty gears, and some glina ore. Okay. There's some granite stone in that chest. Broken anvil, ruined chair, broken chandelier. So this thing, if we fix it, it will teleport us somewhere. Here, what do we have in this thing? It's empty storage crates. Another collapsed chest with some rope and some more temporal, or some more rusty gears. All right. Ruined bed. Oh, it goes deeper. Hold on. Get this granite out of the way. So, like, we have an old fire pit, an aged book stand, old candles, a broken canopy bed. Oh my goodness. This is a crate full of clean bandages. Ruined shelf, aged shelf. So, like, see these are actually decorative items. If you bring glue in here, you can fix some of these and fix them up and take them with you. There we go. Oh no, it wasn't just bandages. It also had some metal scraps. Okay, interesting. All right. But the major point of interest is this here translocator. So basically, I'm going to need to fix that. So to fix it, I need some temporal gears. And I'm going to need some metal parts. Stuck in here. I'm going to get rid of this Bowtorn before he bothers me too much. Come here, Bowtorn. But I have all the parts, I think, to fix that thing back at base. So we're going to mark it. All that. Let me get back to my map here. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to do this. Translocator. We're just going to mark it blue. There we go. So we know there's a translocator down here. Alright. So this was completely worth exploring. Well, let's head out. Because this cave, unfortunately, does not have what we were looking for. Though it did have other valuables. Come on, we got there. There we go. Alright. Let's go this way. Back the direction we actually want to go. Look for more caves. Alright, so we'll start poking around these caves down this way. Because what I'm looking for is, I'm hoping to find just an exposed salt dome in one of these caves. If I'm lucky. And I can stop just like digging around. Alright, let's see here. What about over here? Can I get down into this cave? Or is this like another straight drop? Let's eat first before we go down there. There we go. Food's all topped off. And I'm actually going to take this and make some twine out of it. Go. So put a ladder there. Actually, over here might be best. Yeah, I think over here will be best. Let me make some more ladders real quick. Alright, so we'll do that. And then we'll go there. That way we have a way up and out. So I nearly messed that up. I'm running out of ladders. Hold on. I saw movement down there. It's a shipper. Okay. Afraid there's a Bowtorn there for a second. Bowtorn would have been bad. Bowtorn could have shot me. Alright, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna grab that rusty gear. Gonna go check over this way to see if there's anything over this way. Oh my goodness. What is that? That is black coal. Which, funny enough, also means there could theoretically be fire clay in here. Let's do this for a second. This is a huge, like, node of black coal. But, so, used to you could find fire clay, like, very easily in the game. They apparently changed that a few updates ago. Because it could spawn on the surface. But now, the only way to find black coal natively, or fire clay natively, I should say, is you can find it under black coal deposits like that. Alright. So let's do a quick, just short-range sample, just because, why not? See if there's anything over here. Nothing nearby. We'll do a long-range sample, or a density sample, technically is what this is. There we go, we'll do that one. See if this one's far enough away. Yep, it was. And we'll do that one. Alright. Coal, chromite. Okay, interesting. Oh, hello, boat horn. Ow. Alright, one of you got me. Oh, two of you guys. Well, this one, though. Because you're going to be a problem if you escape. The arrow. We'll go get the other one that went the other way. Because that's where we came from anyways. And there's more to explore over here. And at least I've got all the bone arrows I could ever care about. Okay, so we know... Oh, that hurt a little bit. So we know there's a boat horn down here. Okay, come on. I need to get rid of these guys. Come here. Stop it. Stop running. There's water here. That's interesting. You can see it, like, kind of cycling up through the ground there a little bit. Alright. Harvest all the mobs I killed. We are losing a little bit of temporal stability here. I mean, that's good that I'm getting more flax. Let me grab these bandages real quick. Gonna heal up. And yeah. We'll save the other one. There we go. Alright, back to exploring. That's what we have here. Conglomerate. So this conglomerate rock is also a good sign that there might be halite around, because you can find halite in that. And you can find marble in this slate. We're going to walk around through here a little bit. Just more boat horns. Good lord, there are tons of boat horns around here. Well, if y'all want to go down there, I'm not going to chase you down into the slate biome. The slate biome is not going to have what I'm looking for. This conglomerate biome, though. It might. There we go. Or not. Well, you know, it's worth coming over here. Just take a look. Let's see if there's anything around here. Nothing. Okay. Not surprised. Alright, well, I am going to just dump these rocks out here that I don't need. Don't need those. Thank you. Dang it. I said go away. Alright, so nothing over there we were looking for. Let's go back this way before we're rudely attacked by an army of boathorn and things. Bad roofer. Shiver thing. Good lord. Those things are such a nuisance. Alright. Alright. Falling from, like, up there. Alright. Anything back this way? I think all of this just to search for Halite. Keep topping off our food a little bit. Keep the healing going. Because, yeah, if your hunger meter isn't full enough, you won't get natural regeneration either, by the way. Alright. Let's see here. So, since I came from up there somewhere, we'll just mine a little way up. Practically soon. I can hear him behind me. Have some rocks back there, bud. Alright. It's gonna be my best way out of there. Okay, so that's where I came down. Alright, so we've kind of explored everything. Is there anything up there? No, not really. Okay. Alright, well, let's head out. So we know there's a whole bunch of, you know, black coal down here if we ever want black coal. But it's not really the area we're looking for. There we go. He just spawned in front of me. You saw that. Why did he just spawn in front of me? Oh, because there's a portal right here. Alright, I'm standing next to a portal. That's why. Oh, it's high activity out, too. Well, that explains it. Ow. Really? Where'd you come from? I didn't know it was drifter fighting time. I thought that Shiver and that Drifter were about to fight each other. Yeah, there's a portal right there in my face. Let's get away from that before I lose any more temporal stability. Oh, that he threw that rock all the way over here at me. Alright, what do we have down here? Besides another giant hole in the ground. Okay. Ooh, more twine. So more twine becomes more that, and 2 more bandages. There we go. That's the best way I want to go down in this hole. Actually, what I think I'll do is I'll go over here to this merchant first. Because we can hang out in his place while I decide if there's any better caves to go to nearby. Anyone told you you're loud, bud? Felipe? What you got today, Felipe? Anything interesting? Ooh, I could buy a tin bronze lantern for 9 gears. That's expensive. Got an aged crate. Or a table. So let's get a chair. It does have some nice paintings, though. Nothing I'm actually interested in. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Alright, so let's just kind of stick ourselves in this corner while I check my map. Okay, so we have that cave there. I really wish I had a cave, like, down here. We could always go to this one and see if we get a decent reading for Halite. Problem is, the Halite's here, and I don't have any caves. Closest might be that thing there. I'll check out and see what those are. Or that one. I don't know if the Halite reading's going to be any good over there. Because it wasn't really up here. Actually, I've seen worse. I've seen worse. Yeah, we're going to have to go explore. Alright. Plan of attack. First things first, let's get these off the hotbar. And then, let's eat. That's all I want. There you go. Alright. And what we'll do... Well, no, because it's still high activity out. I'll leave the lantern in my offhand, even though it's wasting food value doing this. Alright, so that's my old campfire from the previous time I was over here. Now here's the cave we can see. Actually, this is the cave we can see. So let's see what we can do. Let's get us, make like 9 ladders here. There we go. Oh, good. We can actually... Oh, ow. Really? Drifter? Drifter? Come here. Where you at? There's 2 of you. No wonder. Knocked him down into the cave. Came back. Oh, no, it's another one. I think it might be a portal, like, in that tree. Can I have my loot, please? You all are going to make it hard for me to go exploring, aren't you guys? Good lord, every time I stop, another drifter. I just need to get down in this cave faster. What this is. I don't think portals show up down here. Come here. Stop dodging. I need to get rid of this bowtorn. Bowtorn, I should say. Alright. Okay, that was just flint. There we go. Okay. We have reclaimed the cave for the moment. What about you, Shiver? What you got? Nothing. Photon's back. Hear you. Really? So you can get back up here. Where'd your friend go? Where'd your friend go? Oh, there's more black coal down here. Okay, so we got conglomerate. I'm going to do a short range reading just because it's going to be funny. There's coal. Oh, wow, I barely... That one miss. Good lord. Y'all are not going to leave me alone, huh? Come here. Come here. Quit running. Quit running. Nope. Alright. Let me get a torch. So. Let's see. Where'd I come down at? I came down here. There we go. Alright. We'll do like one more like right about here. That should hopefully slow down the spawns a little bit. There we go. There. Alright. Now maybe I can mine some black coal in peace. Alright. I want the black coal, though. Because, one, I don't get it very often. And two, I want to see if there's any, like, fire clay beneath it. Because I've never actually gotten to... Well, and I found it, like, once. With fire clay beneath it. Alright. Oh, there we go. So let's do a reading here to see what we've got in the area. So we get that one. One more, and we'll do that one over there. Poor Halite, so like probably not even worth searching for. Therefore, very poor bituminous coal as I'm standing on it. That's hilarious. Very, very poor coal readings. Says the game as I'm mining coal. Oh, goodness. Alright, so we came in at this cave here. Alright. Alright, let's go check this other side, because I don't think we fully explored this other side. Alright, so that's where we came in. Alright. Well, I think I know why we didn't fully explore this other side, because getting back out of this other side might be a problem. So, what is this? It's a dead drifter. Is that a bunch of dead animals down here? How did dead animals get down here? I'm so confused. You know, I'm not going to say no to the meat, but, like, how? Oh, there's a big entrance. Well, I guess they just ran down here and fell. Got conglomerate again. I keep hoping at some point, like, one of these is going to lead me to Halite. Let's just do a short range reading, see if there's anything nearby. Nope, not surprised. Alright, let's go ahead and knock this out over here. And see what's over here. Nothing over this way. Boat horn over here. Let's get rid of you. Goodbye, boat horn. I don't think that one's coming back. Alright. Anything over this way? I mean, I'm getting closer to where I was getting my good Halite readings. So... every time it changes from claystone to conglomerate, it makes me go, oh, did I find Halite finally? No. We're getting good readings down in this area, so... yep, let's try it. Let's try a short-range sample, see what we see here. Nothing nearby, not surprising. But we'll do a density survey as well. And then we'll do that one. It's not a bad reading for Halite, though. That in here, that in here. Top off our food bar, and then we'll prospect around in this area a little bit. With my luck, this would be one of those things where the Halite's just like just behind this wall or something. If I don't check. So let's check. Well, we got conglomerate. Okay, let's go this way. If we find the halite, it'll be sitting like on top of the slate, by the way. That's my understanding. It kind of goes all the way down to this next layer of rock when you find it. Really? Okay, so we have to work our way up. Why is the slate going up here? This rock layer is very strange. The pattern it's making. Alright, there we go. We're back at conglomerate. Let's just work our way this way, along the conglomerate. Because the conglomerate can also be a host rock for halite. Conglomerate is also very fast to break. And we're back into claystone. If we're lucky, we'll hit another cave or something. And this is also taking me closer to where I've had the really high reading, so we'll see. Alright. Come on. Give me that halite. It's gotta be in here somewhere. You know what? Let's just do this. We'll do a short range search, just see if there's anything nearby. Nope. Oh. Well, we found something. All right. Let's see here. Let's do that. Let me get some dirt real quick. Might also need to make some more torches here soon. Guess what we'll do is we'll throw some ladders here. There we go. Alright. This is interesting. Cracked conglomerate. So these are glowworms down here. You see these in caves sometimes. They make for some very pretty, like, you know, stuff. But they don't do anything beyond that. So this is like an underground... Huh. Because there's even muddy gravel down here. Like you're looking at a lake on the surface. I mean, there's like nothing down here, but it was worth finding. Just for this pretty, like, scene. I mean, I wish I had some claystone, or some, you know, halite. What's that up there? That's just conglomerate. Okay. Huh. Just a little micro cave with some glowworms in it. Yep, see, just glowworms, light level 7. They don't have a use or anything. There it goes. Alright. Yep, we'll get back this way then. Well, here we go. We'll probably have to call it here for now, folks, just because, you know, it is getting late for me, and I do have an 8-year-old I have to get up and take care of in the morning. And tomorrow, I've also got the big launch of my multiplayer server for the members of my community. It'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, if you're interested in that, join my community. There's links in my description. Not of the video, but like on my page. So, but thank you all for joining me and hanging out and watching me mine and explore and talk about the mechanics of the game and, you know, blacksmithing and stuff of that nature. And explore these ruins. We even found our first translocator today, which was super cool. That's actually the first one I found on this entire run. That wasn't part of a like POI. Like, for example, the Resonance Archives has some that are part of like a big puzzle thing that you have to figure out. But we found our first one in the wild. So, thank you all so much. This has been Thal McRom streaming some Vintage Story and my vanilla playthrough. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll catch you all next time.